Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Laura Carpentier. She's a seasoned customer success and business transformation leader with over 19 years experience driving customer retention, revenue expansion, and operational excellence. And we'll be learning about powerful insights on scaling customer success, driving retention, and building high performance virtual teams. Welcome to the show, Laura.
Thank you very much for having me today.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Laura. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about how one can, master customer success at scale. We'll talk about all that. But before that, let's learn a bit about you, your journey, your background, so that people know who they are listening to.
Sure. Yeah, no, and thank you for the time today. So a little bit about me. I actually didn't start out in customer success. Most of my early career was spent in the media and television industry, particularly running business process transformation across various departments. Before moving into the automation industry about 5-6 years ago, consulting in that space for a few years. And then I eventually found my way to customer success. As a practitioner of customer success myself, initially aligned with large strategic enterprise customers, before then moving into leading the mid-size and small size customer segment for the last couple of years. Currently, I head up customer success globally, and we're facing things like scaling and digital customer success every day and how to do that right in a virtual and remote environment.
Absolutely, Laura. So when we talk of customer service success, what should we understand today? What customer success is all about?
Customer success, honestly, is a Swiss Army knife of many things, to be honest. Kind of think of customer success as both the heart of an organization as well as the glue of an organization as it comes to all things pertaining to the customer. A customer success manager is really the frontline facing face of the organization, interfacing every single day with customers once their journey begins with a particular organization. But it doesn't stop there. The glue is the CSM is really stitching together insights, making sure things are actioned appropriately across multiple functions, being the voice and advocate for their customer, as well as being the advocate and voice of reason for their organization that they're a part of. All right, so they sit on a tremendous amount of information and insights and really are the impetus for driving a lot of the strategy and understanding of where an organization can go from a customer perspective.
Right. So customer success is about the customer. But lots of customers have lots of complaints with lots of products, lots of companies, lots of, organizations. So are these good times for talking about customer success, or is it too late because customers have woken up and they know that they are still the king and these guys are just posturing in the name of customer success because a lot of money has gone down the drain dealing with, with people who have just taken away their money and never responded, only responding through chatbots and whatnot. So help us understand then, do you think the job of customer success manager is in jeopardy? It will fade away with time, or is it a good time for customer success to be talked about?
Yeah. Thanks for the question. So I don't believe the role of a customer success manager is going away, first, to answer your question. But I do think it is in a state of evolution. And it has been for a while. Traditional customer success has sort of been seen as customer service to some degree, to your point earlier. And there's a direct tie to customer satisfaction. Just like with a waiter or waitress at a restaurant, how well your food is prepared for you and provided to you sometimes is directly correlated to the service you receive. And they're not really one and the same. Customer success is similar in that regards. when it comes to customers being satisfied with a particular product that they're using and how that use changes over time. With that being said, we do have new technologies out there. AI for sure is top of everyone's mind in terms of how that is revolutionizing all industries, inclusive of customer success. What we see happening now is not that customer success is going away. There is still a keen focus on retention, now more than ever before. If you think about it, there is an appetite for new technology. There's an ease of implementation of new technology like we've never seen before. And with so much competition and macroeconomic factors, the retention of a customer base is even more important now than ever before. So customer success still has a keen importance. What is changing is the role of customer success and how that integrates with new technologies. So what we're starting to see is the value added time that a CSM provides with a particular customer, that does not go away. But things that take a lot of time, like troubleshooting, tickets, chasing down information, project management, those are the things where technologies like AI, chatbots, etc., are starting to be utilized. So think of it this way. It's a reprioritization of the times and activities that CSMs are doing. That's really starting to change. But the role itself will definitely continue from my perspective and become even more important as we go forward.
Absolutely. So how does this customer success work happen on the ground, or customer success manager? You talked about waiter, waitress, and a restaurant, and then there is the customer success manager. So he or she comes, the service was very bad. He or she comes to your table, asks you how the food was, and the food may be good, and you say it was good. He goes back and he gives that the customer is very happy, whereas he may be just happy with the food, not with the organization, not with the whole atmosphere, not with the way the service was given. So in a way, it looks like a dubious way of getting customers, yes, but only the yes was only for one small part of the thing, and you are ticking. It's like a lot of customer care executives. When as soon as your call is ended, they say we'll share with you, a rating for the call. But actually, if you say anything to that call, they will assume that the customer's query is resolved, and many a times you will not find it difficult to reach them. So I think, from if I look at it from a customer point of view, these are dubious ways by organization in the name of success, customer success, to reach out without bringing those people who are the real villains out in the picture. How would you like to respond to this, Laura?
Sure. I think the key thing here to differentiate between customer success managers being on the front line, shielding complaints, or being the voice of the organization, the key difference here is relationships. These are not one-time conversations that CSMs are having with their customers. They are building relationships day in and day out. And I'll go back to the restaurant analogy for a second because I think it's a good one. People often go back to restaurants because they have a relationship with people that work there, whether that is a bartender, a waiter, they know the owner. Sometimes the food isn't great. Sometimes the service is slow. But what do you have? You have loyalty. You build that loyalty through the relationships built. And that is the primary role of a customer success manager, is to build rapport and long-lasting relationships with customers. What does that do? That enables them to weather through things like product gaps or delays or dissatisfaction-related issues, and be able to be honest with what's happening, open with what's happening, but also clear on what those steps are. So are they on the front lines? Absolutely agree with you. Are there tough conversations that often have to be had with customers? Yes. But if a CSM is doing their job really well, they have built and are sustaining that relationship for the long term. And because of that rapport and that relationship being built, those conversations can be had in a clear manner, in an open manner, to get through difficult times.
Absolutely. So if we look at it today's time, everywhere artificial intelligence, is taking over. So in terms of a customer success manager, is it the best of times or is it the worst of times for their role, if we look at it from that point of view?
Yeah, so I just faced this myself, actually. It's a question tried and true to me if we go back a year. Depends on how you look at customer success. If you look at it from the sense of you need a person to man the relationship always, you're going to look at technologies like artificial intelligence as a job elimination platform. Okay. However, I'll take my own personal example. My former organization, I led the commercial customer success organization. I had about 7,300 customers globally. Now, my team in no way could manage servicing all of those customers. And retention, as we talked about, is always an issue. Customer satisfaction and retaining your customer base is paramount. So when you don't have enough manpower to support those customers, you have to look at other ways of satisfying their need for onboarding, enablement, training, resolution around tickets, and so forth. Okay. Looking at technologies like digital platforms, automated workflows, chatbots to initiate responses in a quicker, easier way. Right? These are all things that we have looked to augment what our customer success managers are doing. They're still on the ground. They're still working face to face with customers, but we're leveraging technologies to bridge that gap. So we have an opportunity to reach actually more customers than we would be able to normally with just a fixed amount of capacity, right? So these technologies, again, if we look at it binary as they're going to replace CSMs, not at all. It is more about figuring out the right spaces in the customer journey and the customer ecosystem where you can infuse them into what a CSM is doing, how a CSM is responding to still satisfy your customer and reach more customers, but sustain the value of a CSM.
Absolutely. So we'll see how this whole AI thing goes in the future. But I want to understand, where does the role, will come to the scalable part of customer success after this. But first, to understand, where does the role of the customer success manager begin? Should it start with the customer journey, or should it come at the end of the customer journey when he has already had lots of not so good words to say for either product or the service or the way he has been treated? How does it work? Because you talked about relationships, and then again, humans are not able to build relationships. And when you are scaling it up with technology, do you think bots will be good at maintaining relationship with the customer and create that so-called customer loyalty?
Sure. So I hear two questions in that. First one is, where should a customer success manager enter into the customer journey? So you hit the nail on the head. Traditional viewing of customer success is that they come in post sales. So after a sale is closed with a customer success manager is introduced to maintain the relationship. That is largely at the time when customer success managers often are introduced. However, we have found a lot of value in bringing customer success managers in earlier in the sales cycle, even in the pre-sale cycle. Reason for that goes back to the relationship building point. Absolutely. Secondly, CSMs have a really good perspective of what it's going to take for a customer to be satisfied and a customer to adopt a particular product or service. Those insights brought earlier upstream allows for a couple of things. Number one, that the right quantity of product or service is actually positioned to the customer appropriately. And from a customer's perspective, it gives them the insight to understand, are they really ready? Are they mature enough from an ecosystem perspective to be able to do everything that they want to do? And sometimes it does take those benchmarks and those insights of having worked with multiple customers, shared up front so that the right and appropriate relationship kicks off from the start. And what we found is that customer success managers who are a part of that pre-sales process, we see better opportunities developing, higher rates of adoption of product and services, better and long standing relationships that are formed at that stage, and more credibility for the organization. So that is one aspect. Definitely normally entering into the post-sale stage, but moving that opportunity up front allows for many more benefits. Your second question relates to, will chatbots ever be a proxy for replacing a human? Right? Can they serve the same thing? Absolutely not. Let's take technology out from a second. From a technological capability, there are so many advances in the sophistication of responses. Look at ChatGPT, etc. Right? Is that a human? No. Is there the need to still have a human relationship? Absolutely. When we think about digital technology and its role in customer success, I don't like to think about it as there's segments of customers that are only going to be utilized for particular technologies. That would mean they never have any access to a human being or a customer success manager. Instead, think of it this way. There's opportunities to augment when chatbots, when automation, when digital journeys come into that spectrum. It's another set of tools that a CSM can use in their toolkit. For example, my team was responsible for rolling out scaled customer onboarding several years ago. We started with that and we digitized all of that content, placing that on our customers' portal. Okay. We use that as an opportunity not to replace the relationship, but instead arm our sales team and our post-sales team with an opportunity to leverage personalized webinars that provided the key information that customers needed on demand 24/7. That's something a human being can't do, can't be available around the clock whenever a customer needs. Right? So that was an additional set of assets that we could provide. It was not looked at as a replacement for the CSM, but as an additional benefit and ease of use for customers.
Absolutely. Now coming to this customer success at scale. How do you do that? How do you maintain relationship at the same time? Because no company, they are keeping humans. They are removing humans, bringing in bots. And you talked about relationship, and you also said that relationship can only be augmented by chatbots, but the real relationship has to be done by humans, and humans are being removed from the system. So I think, it has to be, companies will have to try extra and prove to the customers that, listen, we will keep humans. We are very much in favor of your success. Otherwise, it's just like, it's just like not true. It does not work like that. People know about it. People have to pay extra nowadays to deal with a human in a. So that is why they call it priority customer care, or in whatever name you want to say. So that's not good. You can't just say differentiate between customers just on the name of that a human will answer or a chatbot will answer. The second time I will tell, I will not deal with you. My avatar will talk to you, and then I will come at a, only because if you are paying me, then I will talk to you. It is stupid talk if I look at it from a customer's point of view, Laura.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's talk about our definition of scale first, so we're on the same page. Scale doesn't necessarily mean you're eliminating that customer interaction. What it does mean is you're taking the time of a human being and you're utilizing that time for what is going to provide the most quality interaction for your customers. Okay. Now, I've seen situations where customers have a CSM on demand, to your point, that's available all the time. And they would argue that relationship may not be the best relationship, or they're not getting, all of the satisfaction that they want out of that relationship, even though they have access to a human being whenever they need. Why? Because it's about the quality of the interactions. Okay? So when we talk about scaling, it's about understanding, when do customers need support? What support do they need? And are we engaging with them at the right time? And if we are engaging with them at the right time and providing them with the tools, education, enablement, and support they need outside of that, then from their perspective, they are able to get what they need. So we'll come back to the customer onboarding example. Okay. We've found that the most critical point in a customer journey is the first 90 days. When you're buying a new product, it doesn't matter if you're talking about CSMs or anything. When you first get that product, you have to set it up. Whether you're installing new software, building something from IKEA, whatever that might be, right? That critical build and implementation stage makes or breaks something. If it's too complicated to do on your own, if it's frustrating for a customer to do it, that is going to last with them throughout the entire process. So prioritizing where someone is working directly with a customer upfront makes that difference. We took that time across the entire life cycle of a customer interaction, and we front loaded it into that first 90 days, putting our CSMs there. But it wasn't just that. To go back to your question, when next do customers need support? At their critical milestones, when they're scaling, when they're moving from one level to the next, right? So we would have pre-planned check-ins with those customers to go back every month or every quarter, check their progress, understand what help they needed, give them that guidance, right? So from their perspective, engaging with them at the right point in time, delivering the right value was not seen as a reduction in time across the board, but instead of utilizing their time well to drive outcomes that were mutually agreeable.
Absolutely, absolutely, Laura. And in this whole process, where or when do you come into this whole process? Because if there is a problem, then only you come. If there is no problem, then you don't come, or do you still come? Because there seems to be a lot of problem everywhere, at least in terms of customer success. So help us understand, where do you come into this whole process, and what do you exactly come in for?
Yeah. So just to clarify, you mean customer success managers? When do they come in? Not me as a CS leader, or were you referring to me?
Yeah, in terms of your, help, how do they scale their customer success process?
Yeah. So generally, customer success starts off rather reactive, to your point, right? We come in, respond to issues or problems or questions that a customer may have. Over time, the goal is to move from reactive to proactive, specifically meaning we sit on a tremendous amount of customer feedback, information we're gathering, product information, et cetera. We look at what are those dissatisfiers from customers, what are their product gaps and viewpoints, and we work directly with support teams, product teams, for example, sales teams, to proactively mitigate issues before they become issues, right? Better education up front, better deal composition, as we talked about. So that evolution of moving from reactive to proactive does take a lot of the firefighting away over time. For myself as a CS leader, right, there's always an opportunity to need to be engaged, right? Most of my time is spent looking at those insights, offering back cross-functionally ways that we can infuse those insights across our product space, sales space, et cetera. Capacity management is a big space, right? We still have a finite amount of time that CSMs can spend on accounts. And if your organization is growing, which is what you want, your account load should be growing, right? So it's a good problem to have. Coverage is always an issue. You always have more customers than you have CSMs. So I spend a lot of time looking at how do I maximize the time that my CSMs are spending on their accounts? Are they spending their time in the right points? And how do we continually to optimize that? Of course, for strategic relationships, larger, more complex discussions, I will tend to those personally, obviously from an executive perspective, but really good CSMs hold their own. They know what's happening on the ground with their customers. They are there on the front lines every day and are really seen not only as trusted advisors, but honestly as friends in many cases with customers. So it makes my job a lot easier to really be able to focus on the strategy and go forward motions of where the industry is going as a whole.
Right. One last question, Laura, is that in terms of the shifting loyalties, even for customers, they always look at the best deal possible, or try out new product, or services. In that context, is it worthwhile to spend so much of money or energies on customer success if we are looking at it from the new understanding of things? Old understanding is, okay, let the customer be happy. But in this today's time, how do you look at this? Is it a better way at looking at return on investment in this particular area?
Yeah, that is honestly the ongoing debate of the value of customer success, right? You have more competitors in the marketplace than ever before, and that product fragmentation is really difficult. And when you're competing on price, you're absolutely right. Something that's free or low cost is hard to compete with. But we actually have found when you embed the value of a customer success manager within the product and service, we have seen customers stay with an organization or actually move to an organization because they feel like they are going to be covered end to end. It's not just about getting a quick, inexpensive product in their organization. It's about having that assurance and security that they will have someone with them throughout their life cycle. So many times when you can position customer success as an asset, as something that's part of the service and product that's going to be offered, that can be a differentiator, especially when you're competing on price and ease of use.
Absolutely. There's much to understand about all these things, Laura, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you. A lot of companies would want to connect with you, get your inputs, get your services on this. What is the best way for them to do so?
Sure. So thank you for sharing my contact information. LinkedIn is the best way to reach out to me. You can go to my profile. I also have an opportunity to book time as well. Really excited. I love customer success, as you can tell. I'm passionate about this, especially around augmenting new technologies within CS. So would love to hear what questions and insights others have.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.